It's the executive session. Thank you. Can I get a motion?
I that we adjourn to executive session to discuss collective bargaining negotiations, the employment history of particular persons, personnel matters, and/or employee records, and matters deemed confidential by state or federal law, including seeking advice from counsel.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carried. Thank you. In executive session, we should be out at 8 p.m. to reconvene to a public portion of our agenda. Okay, thank you everyone. It's loud. We are back in public session. It's 8:04 p.m. And we're going to move forward in the agenda. Our next item on our agenda is our presentation from Highview Elementary School. I see Mr. Angelo. Oh, I am so sorry. Thank you everyone. I went too fast for our agenda. I'm sorry. Next on our agenda is reconvening open session and the pledge of allegiance. Can everyone please stand?
Mike.
Observe the flag. Is your flag in here?
On
Yes, to right? Okay.
the clerk's,
Thank you.
on the clerk's desk.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. Excuse my rushing. Now, Mr. Angelo, we present Highview Elementary School. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you to the Board of Education and the public. Thank you for being here. Is that where the TV is and everybody's watching at home? Is that way? I don't want to talk this way. Thank you very much. We do have a presentation tonight. It's sort of a follow-up from last year, talking about our math progress that we've been making, and talking about some new SEL initiatives that are going on in Highview School. So we are going to go through the slides. Just to tell you a little bit about ourselves, my name is Gary Mastrangelo. This is my 17th year as the very proud principal of Highview School. It's my 39th year in education, 26th as a principal, 17 of them here. And then the rest of the presenters are up there as well. What do we have planned for this year? These are some of the topics regarding SEL. We continue to have daily random acts of kindness that we acknowledge from the students through shout-outs. We do morning announcements every single day. Each month, a different teacher and a pair of students make our morning announcements, which include the Pledge of Allegiance, some morning exercises. We announce birthdays and other highlights, and then we announce shout-outs. And a shout-out might be something like, we want to shout out John from room 6, who yesterday he helped a classmate pick up all the things they dropped in the hallway. And then they get a certificate, and they hear their name over the loudspeaker, and it really kind of makes their day. We also have SEL periods built into every student's schedule. Ms. DeLillo is going to talk about that a little bit later on in the presentation. So will the positive affirmations that are posted around the building. If you were down in the lobby before, you probably saw some. You might have seen some in the cafeteria. They are posted all over. You'll see slides about that as well. The clinical staff which includes Ms. Ramos, our social worker, and Mrs. Dupree, our school psychologist. They support students and teachers with classroom visitations and lessons that go on in the class that they provide. Ms. Ramos also has student check-ins during the morning and afternoon bus and van lineups. We have 3 short videos. Each one is an hour and a half, so we're going to show you those. I'm kidding, they're about a minute and a half, so you could watch those. And then we also have the digital resources that Ms. Ramos and Ms. Dupree put together from our Kindness Corner, and you'll see those slides later as well. So you're a student in Highview School, you're a second or a third grader, and this is a day in the life of a Highview student. This is not in order, but these are the events and the activities and the subjects and the content area that a child will go through during the course of a day. So you will see TWR listed in 3 different sections. As you may or may not know, that is the writing revolution, and it is a part of the students' content now that used to be just in reading. We have kind of made it bleed into science and social studies, and we are starting to look at math as well, where it just enhances the students' writing and how to better their writing in all different areas, not just in the area of English language arts. The specials that the students have are art, library, Mandarin, music, and phys ed. And then the kids go to the innovation lab once a week as part of their schedule. There is SEL built into the schedule that you're going to hear about later. We still continue with our WIN periods, what I need. I need help with math, and the student sitting next to me needs help with reading. When it comes time to read the WIN period, we will get those specific skills worked with us one-to-one or in small groups. And kids also have lunch and recess throughout the day. Communication, most of these are about me and the community, and then the last couple are for the teachers. But if you are a parent who drops your child off every day, unless I am at a training session somewhere or out of district, you will see me welcoming the students getting out of the cars every morning from 8:30 to 9 o'clock. We have other staff who get the kids exiting off of the buses. I get them coming out of their cars at the kiss and drop zone. So there's one place where parents a lot of times will park and say, "Do you have a minute?" And I said, "After 9 o'clock I will," and then I'll certainly talk to them there. You can reach me through emails, through phone calls, and I communicate with the community as well through the weekly email update every Friday. And we have monthly parent coffees. Last month was our first in-person parent coffee in over 2 years. It was also the same day as National Parent Involvement Day. So I'm very, very happy to say that we had 47 people at our parent coffee, where typically we have 12 or 13. So it was very heavily attended. Thank you, Mr. Thomas was there, and I'm glad you were there to see it, and then you visited the classrooms as well. The teachers use the Remind app every day, and we also have 2 parent-teacher conferences throughout the year, one in the fall, one in the spring. This fall was virtual, the spring will be in person, and I am hearing out in the community that I'm getting many, many questions, can they be hybrid? So that's something that we're going to talk about at an administrative meeting coming up, the possibility of hybrid conferences. And I'm going to turn it over to Kelly Gillen, who is our math coach for the district, and she's going to talk about our math program.
Good evening, my name is Kelly Gillen, and as many of you know, I'm the district math coach. This is my 14th year in education, but my first year at Greenberg. So I want to talk a little bit about the core program. During the Education Wellness Committee, we kind of had an introduction to what we've been doing in our classrooms for math. I'm going to dive a little bit deeper today, and then we're going to talk about what's next to come. We have a new core program with iReady. We've been using the iReady diagnostic tool for years, and this year we are implementing their core math program. This program enables all students to become independent mathematical thinkers and reasoners. This program is wonderful because it's an instructional program that incorporates academic language to help all students develop their content knowledge. The instruction is designed to allow students to take ownership of their learning. They engage in rigorous practice and opportunities that build their conceptual understanding and their procedural fluencies. This program maximizes student engagement, so if you walk into a math class, you'll often see kids on the carpet with their teachers, they're up at the boards, they're reading out loud, they're turning and talking, they're working with partners, they're really engaged in their day-to-day math lesson. And this program is wonderful because it really helps the students and teachers with their engagement presenting real-world problems and understanding the why behind the how. So students often, right, were use that drill and skill, and now they're incorporating real-world problems, and students are seeing how this works in their everyday life. Just a little overview of the structure of the lesson. So the iReady program, K through 8, is broken down so each grade has about 5 or 6 units, and each unit incorporates 5 or 6 lessons. Those lessons are based on a week's worth of time, and in that lesson, there are 5 mini lessons, so each day they do something different. For example, I was just in a classroom last week, and the lesson for the week was word problems involving money. So day 1, the students are exploring what that may look like, right? They have coins in front of them, they're seeing the value of a coin, what's the value of a penny versus a nickel versus a quarter, and it's really exploring. They're trying problems. The teacher's really assessing what students know already. Then as the lesson of the week moves on, day 2, day 3, day 4, they're developing that content knowledge, and then day 5, teacher, as the week went on, teachers understand which students need more help, which students might, how to group for groups, and then refining the content for that lesson. Just some quotes on the program. Each day session is centered around single powerful problems. Students learn by solving and talking to each other. This program definitely targets students' individual needs. There are a lot of resources and tools available for teachers in order to see where students are at in that particular lesson, in that unit, in that span of the year. And this program really is essential to explaining the students' thinking. So for the first time, students are having to explain their thinking. There's a lot of discourse routines, language routines. Students are talking, and students are really, like I said in the beginning, engaged because they're asked to speak about math, really probably for the first time in their education. So the next 2 slides, I'm just going to show some of the data, which I think was the reason why I was invited to come tonight. This is our Unit 1 data for grade 2. These are the 6 classrooms. They're not labeled, so they're just random. For Unit 1, we gave a pre-assessment and a post-assessment. So if you look, the red lines are the pre-assessment scores. Each dot represents a student and their score on the pre-assessment, the assessment given before the unit was taught. If you take a look, the green lines with the green dots represent the post-assessment. So the student took the assessment after the unit was taught. So if you look, you can see that every single student, almost every single student except for maybe 1, every single student gained content knowledge, right? Some students increased their scores by 200 to 300%. Each student was able to show what they learned that unit, right? Was really able to show the teacher themselves that they understood what went on. What's really important here that I think is to show that this data does also show that teachers are implementing this program with fidelity. And that's one thing we've been asking them every single day. These results would not be there if students weren't used to the routines, used to the questioning, used to the procedures. So I think that's really important also. Yes?
So, wonderful. I'm glad that you're monitoring things, taking the bed with things that need to be monitored. Can you hear me? I think you can. Okay. So is that voice or better?
It's got to be your voice, Dave.
Testing. Too close? Too close? Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So, my question is, I know that if students are not progressing on an individual basis, so most of the lines will look like the one you see there,
Then you have breakouts in which you probably target whatever
skill set they're having difficulty with. And so my question is,
What if there's a mass fail? What if you look and you say, there's something wrong with the way we're doing instruction on this particular topic, we need to do it again and do it differently? Is there time built into the schedules for a reteach?
Yeah, so what I've been visiting all the PLCs, grade 2 and grade 3. I'm actually pretty much there on a weekly basis. And what we've been speaking about is if there is a lesson or an idea or a standard that we're seeing that all students are struggling with, then we are looking further on the year and saying, okay, what can we minimize? What can we maybe cut out? What are the 5 standards that we want to ensure students are gaining when they're leaving 2nd grade, when they're leaving 3rd grade? What do we need to ensure that they master? So we are trying to build in time for reteaching. One thing this program does allow is it allows us to group students for small group activity. We are lucky to have 90 minutes of math. So these lessons, whole group, take about 45 minutes. Teachers teaching the whole group, and then the second 45 minutes they're breaking into small groups and they're working individually for student needs, right? This iReady program does allow us to run a prerequisite report based on students' iReady diagnostic results to the unit that they are currently in. So teachers are able to run a report to see in that unit where students might need some extra support, and we'll actually tell them, okay, you're a 2nd grade student, we're adding 2-digit numbers, students need support in grade 1 lesson 17, right? So teachers know which students are grouped that might need that additional support, and they're working in small groups to target that standard.
Thank you.
So that was grade 2, and grade 3, very similar. Take a look, so same. And as you're looking at the data, I also want to say that I have been visiting PLCs. We are looking at data this year. It is one of our district goals. We're really conscious of looking at iReady data. How can we move students? How can we, help? We have a new intervention program called Do the Math that we are also implementing in our self-contained and in our resource room. So we really are focused on getting these students to grow and to build capacity as they move on. One thing that we are very aware of is this is a brand new program. It is our first year. Teachers are receiving PD throughout the year. We've had 3 sessions already coming in January, beginning of February. Our coaches from iReady are coming to our buildings to do some walkthroughs, observe teachers, help them coach through the lesson. But one thing that we are all on the same page with is this is year 1, and as students move throughout the grades, we're going to see strong math students. We're going to see that critical thinking, the language routines, them explaining their math work. And this is the first year we've already seen great progress. I was in the classroom, 2nd grade classroom last week. Students are at the board, they're reading, they're counting just like that, drop of a hat. So it's really nice to see that they're engaged. So I just wanted to share with the community that our next Parent University will be on Wednesday, January 18th, here at Highview, and it is focused on the iReady class for mathematics. So we're going to dive deeper. We're going to look at maybe a sample lesson. We're going to see a video. We're going to, for a half hour, kind of talk about the program as a whole, and then break out to different grade bands so parents can see what their actual students are doing in kindergarten, in 3rd grade, in 7th grade with our teachers. So please join us to learn more about the program.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Christina DeLello, and I am a 3rd grade teacher here at Highview. This is my 8th year in education and 8 years at Highview. I am lucky that I got to start my teaching career here in Greenberg. And I'm going to talk a little bit about 2nd and 3rd grade SEL. Like what Mr. M said in the beginning, SEL is built into our 6-day cycle, but teachers across 2nd and 3rd grade don't just do SEL during that one particular period, that 45-minute period in the 6-day cycle. We try to embed it as much as possible each and every day, depending on how our students are doing. So these are just some of the activities that 2nd and 3rd grade are doing. We are utilizing Go Noodle throughout the day as brain breaks. We are doing a lot of yoga, meditation. We're using strategies to encourage a lot of positive self-talk, self-confidence, and practice problem-solving skills. Teachers develop lessons to develop relationship skills and responsible decision-making, which we feel is really important in the 2nd and 3rd grade classes. We are developing SEL through literacy. A lot of the teachers have been utilizing the Jory John books, which are books that are called The Bad Seed, The Good Egg, The Sour Grape, and doing a lot of SEL activities using those books. There are choice boards focusing on SEL activities like our emotions, acceptance, growth mindset, and each choice board includes child-friendly videos with questions that relate to the topic and directly drawings if necessary. These are just some pictures in second grade, of SEL being done in second grade, from yoga in Ms. Forrest's class, to SEL choice boards, positive self-talk, team building activities, mindful coloring and yoga, and mindfulness yoga across second grade. Social talk during dismissal, more SEL boards in Mrs. Martin's class, and yoga during dismissal in Mrs. Woodward's class. In third grade, some of the same similar activities are being done. We have self-awareness in Mr. Shavilla's class, to yoga, to mindfulness activities. Ms. Mayrose and Mrs. Sarno have a cool-down corner for students if they feel it's necessary to visit during the day, and I have bucket fillers done in my class. Meditation in Mrs. Blair's class, positive affirmations in the top corner with Ms. Mayrose and Mrs. Sarno. That's how they start every morning and afternoon. And then at the bottom are some activities my class has done in learning about our emotions. At the bottom, underneath mine, this is learning about our emotions in Ms. Delow's class. There were 2 resources that went home that I told the students that they could hang up around their bedroom, some emotions that they might feel and what they can do to come back from those emotions. Again, in Ms. McGlynn's class, she has the SEL literacy activities with those Jory John books, self-management in my class at the bottom, growth mindset in Mr. Shavilla's class, and yoga meditation in Ms. Callahan's class. Any questions about SEL in the classroom? I think it's working really well. Like I said, it all depends on the day and how your students are feeling. A lot of teachers do check-ins in the morning and kind of base their day off of that. If you feel like your whole class is struggling, that's how we would start the day normally. But having that SEL period in the 6-day cycle is very helpful because we for sure cover SEL in that cycle. But like I said, it's not just done during those days. We try to embed it as much as possible, especially with the new math program. We try to do a lot of growth mindset thinking, positive talk, just to, help ourselves and guide ourselves through those challenging problems.
Thank you.
Yes.
So last year we were told that kids coming back to school full-time after being out for COVID were having difficulty learning how to play with each other, that social interaction. Just wondering, thinking of SEL and things that happen at recess, is there anything that happens on a routine basis in the classroom after people come in from, after the students come in from recess, if there's been a conflict or something?
Yes, sometimes after that unstructured time, there might be a little issue. A lot of the time we will take 10 minutes right after just to have a discussion about what happened and ways that we could solve problems. I know Ms. Ramos does a lot of that in the morning. She'll do like social scenarios and how other students would respond to those scenarios. I think socially, the students do have a lot to learn, especially with the last couple of years. We try to incorporate as much group work as possible, some social time with them, especially for Fridays. We do something called Fun Friday, where they do have a chance just to be kids and learn how to socialize with each other. So we're hoping that that helps. Yes?
Yeah, just a quick question. On the first slide of the presentation, I saw something about random acts of kindness. How does that work? How do you guys do that? What do the students do?
So I can just speak on my classroom. Like for the holidays, my classroom has been doing lighting up our classroom with kindness. So outside my class on the bulletin board, whenever a student sees an act of kindness from somebody else, or if they have done an act of kindness, they go to my desk and get a little light bulb, and they write their act of kindness on it, and we string them across the bulletin board. But I know in the school day, we do random acts of kindness. They'll do like staff shout-outs or student shout-outs over the announcements. A student can shout out another student, or teachers can shout out each other. That's just been a really great way to build the morale of the building between teachers and students. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lillo. I do have a question for Mr. M or maybe for Ms. Ramos. Are there any staff SEL things that go on? I did hear Mr. Lillo mention shout outs to staff, but I do wonder if the staff has as well some support around supporting children and how that works.
That's a really good question. I will get to that in a second. Along with the random acts of kindness, I actually have a pocket full of stickers. I've heard, even at the high school, I've heard juniors and seniors, they get a sticker and they're so excited. So at second and third grade, if I see someone doing or saying something positive or a random act of kindness to a classmate or to a teacher or to anybody in this building, I will usually say, oh, come over here. And they look at me and I just reach into my pocket and I go like this. What does that say? Star student, that's you. Take this. And I tell them how proud I am of them. I walk away, and later on, almost every single time, they'll walk by and they'll say, Miss Brown, look, I'm wearing it like this. Or they put it on the laptop, sorry, Luke, or other things, but they'll put them on their books. But I have stickers, there's like 4 different kinds of stickers, all with stars on them. I also have pencils that read caught being good, or caught doing something good, because I think of what it says, and I usually keep them in my breast pocket, and I'll just walk around, and the same thing, if I see something like that, I'll just walk by and I'll give them the pencil. It's little things like that, random acts of kindness, that if I see or hear, or if a staff member tells me about it, I'll make sure that I see the student. Now, what about our staff? The timing couldn't have been perfect. We did not plan this. We have a faculty meeting every Monday. Yesterday was an SEL faculty meeting because we are about 3 or 4 days away from a break. Can we use it? You bet we can use it. We can all use it. Our students can use it. The adults can use the break because it has been a very intense first 4 months of the school year. And I sense it from the staff. So the faculty meeting yesterday was up in the multipurpose area in a circle of about 35 chairs, and I basically said to them, we all want to go home. We have 4 more days. We need to make this work for 4 more days. I know what you're feeling. I know you're feeling the pressure, and this has been a pressure-packed school year. But I'm here to help. Tell me what I can do to help you. What can I do to become a better principal? What can I do to become a better person? What can I do to help you through what you're going through all of this, through what we're going on at school? What can I do to help? And I said, because what I had said earlier in the day was bring a pencil, a piece of paper, and a clipboard. And I had said to them, we can talk about it right now if you want, as a group, open, transparent conversation, or you can write it down. And then I showed them a box, and I said, this is our suggestion box. And you can add anything to this. You can put your name on it. You can make it anonymous. Put it in the box. And at the end of each day, I will take the things out of the box. I will read. I will review. I will reflect. And then I will share them in the morning message that I send out to the staff. Someone said this. And then I will address it, and I will address it to the best of my ability, or maybe somebody else in the building can address it as well. So it's not just what I can do for the staff, it's what we can do for each other. And hopefully this will get our train back on the track, get our momentum moving in the right direction, raise our morale a little bit, because right now it's not where I think we need it to be. But I think if the entire staff is here, they would all raise their hand and say the same thing. This is my observation, but I believe everybody feels the same way. And I think the kids feel it too. We are doing the best we can. And I think it's really, really good work, but everybody needs a break. I don't know if you were here, you heard I said it this morning too, that we're about to come up on a vacation, and it is a short one, it's only a week long, but you now have an opportunity to spend a week with your children. We've been keeping them for 5 days a week, and it's time for you to take them. We love them. We love them dearly, and we're going to miss them, but vacations are put on the calendar at the perfect time. It's a good time for us to wash work off our back and rejuvenate and regenerate our batteries and come back in January with a whole new mindset, and that's what we're hoping to do. So, and those conversations happen throughout the day. I've heard so many more times throughout a day where a staff member will walk by another staff member and say, hey, how are you? How are you doing? Are you okay? And I never used to hear that, but I hear that so much more from adult to adult. And a lot of times they'll say, do you have a minute? And they'll go into a room or an office and they'll talk. We all need it. The kids need it. You might hear from Ms. Ramos a little bit how much the students talk with Ms. Ramos. The adults do that with each other as well. And I think it's really, really important that we keep those lines of communication open because we all need to share honest, open
which helps to promote accountability for actions taken, empathy building exercises in small groups, especially when we're doing conflict resolution. We facilitate discussions that are usually student-led, and we use heart language, which technically you're gonna get to see in one of the videos that we'll be showing. And we follow up on practices to ensure that students are continuing to feel empowered and they're continuing to feel assertive and that they know that they can use their voice to resolve conflicts in the future. This is one of the virtual resource rooms that we have provided for our staff. They can go in here and they can get some resources for their own SEL periods that they have in their 6-day cycle. We try to keep it as user-friendly as possible. We have some meditation links. We have some how to do Play-Doh. There's different activities, there's different books that teachers can use and discuss with students afterwards.
So a link would look like this. Click on it, and then it would go to that book. And then you can scroll through.
The one that Mr. M just clicked on is from the Parent Resource
The thing that's
Center.
different
So
about
parents do have this virtual resource room that they have access to. And there's different topics in there on how to talk with your kids regarding relaxation or coping strategies. This one will give some options in regards to bedtime routines. Mr. M is just looking through the website of some of the options that you'll get to access. So this is a parent resource room, virtual resource room that all parents have access to, and it's included in the school website as well. This is the Kindness Corner. We have a Google Classroom where once again teachers have access to. We have it organized based on topics, healthy friendships, self-awareness, self-advocacy, whatever the case may be. Teachers have options and activities, fun activities that they can either do virtually or physically. I have some organized folders with different categories that teachers are more than welcome to get copies from, and it's a fun 20 to 30-minute activity they can do with their class. As Mr. M mentioned earlier, we do have positive affirmations all around the school because we are awesome and we want to make sure that our kids are reinforced. And even when we are doing conflict resolution and a child recognizes that what they did or what they said was not okay, we always remind them that it doesn't mean, we always remind them that they're great kids, they're an awesome, amazing rock star, and they just made a bad choice. But all these positive affirmations are all over the school. They're in the bathrooms, the boys and the girls bathroom, and the family restroom that we have here as well, in the gym, in the cafeteria, in the hallways. These are just some more examples of where they're posted all around the school. One of the things that we do is a morning check-in. You're gonna hear me nice and loud and clear. Surprisingly, I surprised myself, and when I got to get the whole student body quiet just so they can listen to the questions that I asked, and I based it on the very same topics that I mentioned earlier: healthy friendships, heart language, coping strategies, who can you go to, and I'll just give you some examples. These are each about a minute and a half. So I'll give you a good idea of what happens in the morning here.
So before I click play, just to let you know, as I said before, while I'm outside welcoming the parents or the students who are getting dropped off, The buses are on the other side. As the bus students come out of the buses from downstairs, and the band students come in from outside, they all come down into the gym. And they're here until 8:45, and as soon as the song plays, they go to class. So in between 8:30 and 8:45, the students are here, and this is something that you will hear Ms. Ramos do on a daily basis.
As always, we will be As always, we're going to ask some questions, and then one of
It's a computer.
So I have some questions. If you do not like how someone has their hair done, or their clothes, or the music they like to listen to, or their character in a video game, do you tell them or do you keep it to yourself? Keep it to yourself. That was yes, keep it to yourself.
So for those that may not have heard, the first question was, what is more important, what you think about yourself or what others think of you? What your classmates think of you, what your friends think of you? What is more important? Does it matter, what is more important, what you think, what you eat, what you like to eat? Like, I wanted to emphasize that of course what matters most is what you think about yourself. And it turned out to be an easy one because everyone was like, what do you think of yourself? So, but you couldn't hear that clearly. But there's 2 more videos. I'm just trying to see if there's any way to put it out because I think it gives a clear idea of what happens in the morning here at Highview.
Video itself is low. It's all the way up.
It's okay. I'll just talk about it.
Yeah.
But basically, I take the opportunity because
The
I'm
videos.
only one social worker for the whole school. I try to look for opportunities where I'm able to have all the student body, and what better way than the morning. So I take the opportunity in the morning to ask questions regarding what are some things that you can do to make your heart feel happy if you have been frustrated or mad or upset. And the kids give great examples, not only here at home, not only here in school, but at home as well. I ask questions such as, What is the first step you're supposed to do if somebody makes your heart feel mad or frustrated or sad? And the kids, they all know by now, hopefully, since I do this on a daily basis, that the first step is to always let the other student or the other child or the adult know what you just said, what you just did hurt my feelings, because they're learning that they may not realize that what they said or what they did hurt their feelings. And that the second step is always to tell a trusted adult, and we go over who are the trusted adults here in school. Oh, my teacher, oh, the new aide, Ms. Ramos, Mr. M, who are the trusted adults at home, and they're able to answer these questions. We go over different SEL-related questions, and then on a weekly basis, it seems it's on high demand to do the treasure box, where I give a social situation to the students, and I give an opportunity for a class to raise their hand, and the first one to answer an appropriate answer to the question, they're able to look through the treasure box. Because the kids are lined up or sitting down by class, I go on this side one, on that side one, and I'm closing into the middle. But it seems that the kids are not just satisfied with Fridays, not they want 2 days or 3 days a week, but it's just a great idea that is working out very well, and I collaborated with the occupational therapist as well as the physical therapist to come up with good treasure box ideas. I'm going broke, but the kids are happy, and that's what matters. So this is the morning check-in, like I said. And these are just some pictures. I didn't want to keep showing more and more videos, but you'll see like one of the students, she has a tendency to always come for a hug, but she knows to ask me first, even though I always say yes. You can see in the second picture, I'm not sure if it's clear, 2 students were able to get through the treasure box. And the third picture, I think I'm just getting closer because I'm getting old and I needed to hear closer. But that's it, yeah. These are just some examples. I do a similar thing in the afternoon. This is a video we did show last year for the 100th day of school. I'm dressed up as a very old lady, and the kids, we do an afternoon check-in, and I think that this one is loud enough that I think everyone would hear it.
So we'll give it a shot.
We'll give it a shot. So I also do an afternoon check-in where I ask kids, how's everything going? Is there anything that didn't go well? If I do have the time, I try to do highs and lows. What was your high of the day? What was your low of the day? Why was it a low? And I try to touch upon every child as much as I can on a daily basis. I'm rarely in my office because of it, but I love it. I love it. Okay, here we go. So there are some SEL initiatives that Mrs. Dupree and I have been implementing into the school year. So one of the things which I feel has been very effective and is very needed is weekly noon-aid meetings. Because we know that there has been, usually in unstructured times is when there's more incidents with the kids. So Mr. M and I have been meeting with our noon aides 2 to 3 times a week. It turns out to be more weekly to provide SEL training on conflict resolution, socialization concerns, utilizing the buddy bench, etc. As we have identified, our lunch and recess tends to be a time where there are a lot of situations in need of conflict resolution. Therefore, we're working closely with the noon aides in hope of preventing incidents from happening. Highview Helpers is something that had happened before, and we're bringing it back. Thus far, we have 15 Highview Helper volunteers, and it's usually a staff member in the school building who volunteers to be a mentor for a student. The students are identified by their teachers. Lunch bunch, Mrs. Dupree and I are in the planning process. We're creating like the consent forms and all that fun stuff for a lunch bunch for each grade that will rotate every 8 weeks. So some of the topics that we will be discussing are healthy friendships and what that looks like, identifying and practicing healthy coping strategies, and social decision making. This is more in hopes of those kids that teachers identify that can benefit from improving their social skills. It could be kids that are frequently in the buddy bench, kids who we find they prefer to play by themselves, or we find that they're consistently in a conflict resolution situation. Something else we're doing is a school-wide project, a sensory model project. Aside from the SEL presentations that Mrs. Dupree and I do in Highview in all the classes, Mrs. Dupree and I want to help our students create their own calming tool so that they can practice not only here at school but at home. It's very simple to do, and our students will be able to use it at night to help them with them during their bedtime. As we know, the more a child sleeps, or the earlier that a child sleeps and the more hours that they sleep, the better and more alert that they are for school the next day. So we're trying to make it into a glow-in-the-dark option for our students. For those who are afraid of the dark, they can use it to help them calm down. So we're trying to help the parents as well as our school as well. And we're currently just waiting to hear back from some water bottle companies that we reached out to in hopes of getting some donations so we can have nice water bottles that will last our students forever and ever. And the calming bottle is basically is water, I believe is some type of oil or glue, and we'll put some fun glitter or sparkles, some beads, and they would be able to turn it back and forth and just look at it go up and down, and that in itself will help them focus on their breathing, which will help them calm down if they're frustrated or upset or whatever the case may be. And it just so happens that I had my phone with me on one of our new name meetings, and I just wanted to show how it looks like. We usually meet in the Innovation Lab. We usually have an agenda. We try to focus on anything that we have seen within that recent week, and we try our best to give enough time for Q&A. And we usually meet for about 30 to 35 minutes with the new names on a weekly basis. And that is all. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you. Are there any further questions from trustees? Trustee Thomas?
Not a question, just a comment. I thank you guys for well, first of all, for the presentation. Everything was great. And I appreciate the invite to the parent event a couple weeks ago. I definitely enjoyed. I get to walk in a lot of classrooms and walking in and seeing how excited the kids were, and like everyone was super duper excited to be learning Mandarin, math, all of the different classes I got to visit. So, salute to you guys for all the work you're doing.
Thank you very much.
Trustee Ballard?
Well, I've heard a lot of really exciting initiatives tonight, so I'm thrilled. I guess I'm thinking the next step. Do you talk to your colleagues across the building so as these children transition to the next stage in their education that they're learning or hearing similar language at R.J. Bailey, or are you talking to the Jackson? Like, how do you work with your colleagues in that area? Thank you.
Of course. So it just so happens that I've been blessed to be part of the SEL district level committee. So, and I am one to participate very vocally, and I'm able to share these ideas. And there are some ideas that we're able to get from ECP, from RJ Bailey. So we're actually working collaboratively to make sure that there is a smooth transition. To my understanding through the committee, there is some standards that we were able to complete so that there is a smooth transition from ECP to Lee of Jackson to us, and RJ Bailey, so that everyone is working seamlessly and using the same language and similar strategies so that the kids are able to thrive, because as we know, kids thrive through routine. So the more smoother, the more familiar we make the transitions for the kids, the better that they'll be.
Any other trustees, comments, questions? If not, thank you. Highview School.
Thank you very much.
Okay, trustees, next on our agenda is United Way.
I try to do it every time I start a tape, it turns it back to me.
Apologies, technical difficulties.
So board, we're going to have a presentation by the United Way. Dr. Nichols is going to explain who they are, why they set up their technical presentation.
Thank you, Trustee Mayor. So I'll actually quickly introduce Ms. Nicole. I have the pleasure of interfacing with, and so I'll allow her to introduce her team. Thank you, United Way, for being out here. They're going to take the next few minutes to share with you the newcomers program that we hope to implement here at Highview, keeping in mind that some of the pieces are still open-ended, and we'll continue to plan with representatives at United Way to select the appropriate student population for this, as well as to continue to design the program according to your guidelines to the 21st century grant. So, Ms. Colon, thank you for being here.
Thank you. My name is Nicole Colon. I am the Director of Educational Programs over at United Way. I am here with the Chief Impact Officer, Faith Butcher, and our President and CEO, Tom Gabriel.
Either one's fine.
Perfect. So, we are presenting the after-school program.
You know what, I might as well get started while we're working on getting this going. My apologies, everyone, for the technical difficulties. As Nicole said, I'm Tom Gabriel, the President and CEO of the United Way of Westchester and Putnam. Thank you all for allowing us to be here this evening to talk to you about our Education United after-school academic and enrichment program. Thank you. So first, let me tell you a little bit about the United Way before we talk about the program. So the United Way in Westchester and Putnam mobilizes strategic partnerships and leverages resources to create a more equitable community by advancing education, financial stability, and health initiatives. We do this because we know that 40% of our neighbors live in poverty or paycheck to paycheck, what the United Way calls ALICE, asset limited, income constrained, but employed. These are families that hold jobs like security guards, home health aides, waiters and waitresses, retail salespeople at big box stores, to 25, almost 30% of our community that are essential to our economy, but who do not make enough to survive in Westchester County. We are known for making grants to nonprofit organizations, and yes, this year we've administered more than $1.7 million in grants to nonprofit partners. But it is literally the least of what we do. We've also donated more than $6 million worth of essential goods like mattresses and pillows and blankets and diapers and hygiene products.
We have a food delivery program, Ride United Last Mile. We're celebrating its 75,000th delivery of nutritious meals in partnership with organizations like Feeding Westchester and DoorDash. We have a transportation access program where we provide Lyft rides to seniors, veterans, other individuals that can't afford rides to medical appointments, to job interviews, even the first 2 weeks of work until they get their first paycheck. We provide real economic assistance, helping people apply for things like the Earned Income Tax Credit, the Child Tax Credit, the Excluded Worker Fund, and the Emergency Rental Assistance Program. And we've also fielded more than 500,000 inquiries and interactions through our free confidential 211 helpline, which serves not only Westchester, but the entire Hudson Valley, Long Island, and Adirondack region. As I mentioned before, one of the first of the three primary things we focus on is education. And we do that by providing more than 45,000 books, a third of which are always bilingual, through early childhood literacy kits through our community partners, school supplies and student support, holiday gifts to families, our summer learning program, through which we donated more than 3,000 backpacks and school supplies to get kids ready to go back to school. Born Learning Trails, which help our families engage and their caregivers engage children in learning early on, and so much more, as well as this Education United program that we're here to talk to you a little bit more about tonight. So, how can we work together to help the Greenberg students? For that, I'm going to turn this over to Nicole Colon, who introduced herself in the beginning.
So we were awarded the 21st Century Grant, which supports academic enrichment and encourages students' families to be more involved in their children's education. The award is for $1.2 million annually over the next 5 years. So with this award, we were able to develop Education United, an after-school academic and enrichment program. So these are some of the program objectives. We have services and supports offered to parents, which will increase parental and other adult community members' skills and knowledge. Regular student attendees will improve their grades and New York State assessment scores in ELA and mathematics. Regular student attendees will improve behavior and attendance. We'll be collecting this data through parent surveys, program attendance systems, school attendance systems, teacher surveys, report cards, and ELA and math test results. So the reason we chose or we're seeking Greenberg as a partner is because we can enhance services Greenberg currently offers to students and their families. We can increase access to information and resources through 211 and other United Way programs. We can provide a family engagement specialist to support newcomer and low-income families. So the after-school program, it will provide academic enrichment, youth development, and family engagement resources to students and their families. We'll provide education and social service support to all students and their families, leading to increased academic success and familial social mobility, enable all students to develop their academic and social and emotional skills, improve student grades, assessment scores, behavior, and attendance. And of course, the most important part, the after-school program is absolutely free to you and to Greenberg. So the after-school program will run for 20 weeks or 300 hours. It is a little bit late in the school year, so we're finding creative ways to make sure that we can have the 300 hours. But on a regular school year, we'll follow a cohort model where students can attend Monday or Wednesday or Tuesday and Thursday. Some examples of enrichment activities include fitness and nutrition, STEM and nature, journalism, financial literacy, career exploration, drama, writer's workshop, and ESL support. And this is an example of an after-school schedule. So you have cohort A, which is on Mondays and Wednesdays, and cohort B, which is on Tuesday and Thursday. The day will begin with their snack time and time to unwind and connect from the regular school day and transition into the after-school program. The first 90 minutes will provide academic support, where it's English, math, and homework help. And then the last 90 minutes will focus on youth development and enrichment and family academy. And then we're working with partners that we can trust, like United Way staff, the school district and their building administrators, teachers, teachers' assistants and aides, the YMCA of Central and Northern Westchester, Feeding Westchester, Gibbons Family Fitness, and volunteers from various colleges like PACE, Manhattanville, Mercy, corporate groups like Regeneron, TD Bank, and Volunteer New York. Do we have any questions?
Thank you so much. Trustees, are there any questions, comments? Trustee Martin? It's so hard to hear you think.
Give him that mic.
Can you give us a sample of a curriculum unit from one of the academic instruction pieces?
So that is something that we're going to be collaborating with the school district to develop. So since we haven't got to go ahead yet, we've been working with teachers and the staff and admin to develop things that are focusing on the school day and bringing it into the after-school program. So like they were mentioning earlier, so maybe working with their iReady team to transition that over, and also working with the writing revolution, just kind of bridging the gap and bringing it into the after-school. So it's an expansion.
So are you collaborating during the day with a committee of teachers during the normal school day, or are they meeting with you after school?
So we have very different things. We have an advisory board that means we're connecting all the different stakeholders. So it's with the admin, we have the teachers, parents that can be a part of the advisory board. We're also hiring an education liaison that is connecting with the school, that will be working full-time in the school and after school to make sure whatever is happening in the school day is happening in the after-school program. So they'll be conducting observations and providing feedback and maybe a little bit of coaching. And we have and then we have the site coordinator that is also there to make sure that everything is running smoothly from the school day into the after-school program and everything is going on task and running smoothly.
And if all goes well, what is your rollout schedule?
Okay. Okay. So we need that yesterday. So that, because we need a SAC license in order to run in the school. And that takes some time. Because that needs to be cleared by the state. We need to have an inspector come out. And it takes about 90 days, maybe a little bit more, for it to be cleared. And then, we can go for it.
The other thing I was just going to add is when Nicole was talking about community partners, this program will also be launching in 2 other school districts, over in Ossining and in Peekskill. So this would be the 3rd school district that we'd be looking to partner with. So in addition to collaborating with your teachers and extending what you're doing already, you would also have the opportunity to engage with those educators in those school districts to share best practices. And that was one of the reasons behind the program design in the first place.
Sorry, but I have to do the points that they don't. Also, with the family engagement specialist, we did be having them work with Ms. Ramos, and to be able to make sure that we can get the same language going throughout the, to the extended day, because SEL is also one of our requirements in the grant, so that we have to hit a certain number of hours actually throughout the, throughout the period. But also that family engagement officer will be working with families from Highview for the entire year. So that's not something that they're just doing in the after school. That's somebody that can work with Ms. Ramos to be able to, okay, this family needs these services, and they can almost become like a case manager to help them get those services. Because the whole point of the program is to be able to lift the entire family up. So we're looking to be able to offer that service because we know Ossining and Peekskill actually already have parent specialists, and what we're able to do working with them. This grant allowed us to be able to provide additional ones to those districts, and for your district, I know it's not a position you currently have, to be able to have that, and also because our office is within walking distance, any extra supplies, like we can bring them over. Because Tom said it very quickly, we did $6 million in essential goods. That's bedding, clothes, whatever these families need, we have access to, and that's stuff we can bring over to your district.
Trustee Thomas.
So thank you guys for the presentation. So this is a part of the 21st Century Grant Award, which I assume has some type of limit associated with it. So let's say you guys come in, everything works swimmingly, you know, in terms of from a time perspective, you know, what's to ensure that this can continue, and also, you know, potentially expand maybe to some of the other schools?
So that's a good question. So we have the grant for the next 5 years, and at that point, we'd be able to apply for a grant again to make sure that it's continuing to have the funding for that.
So for the next 5 years, it would be in this school? For this, it would be in this school district, as well as in 2 different schools in the other school districts that we mentioned, Ossining and Peekskill. And as long as we're hitting the numbers in terms of the hours and the number of children and families served, then there's every expectation that the grant will continue. It's a state-funded grant. And then at the end of those 5 years, we can apply for renewal as well as expansion of that grant. So what the hope would be is that all those best practices that we've learned, that you've learned, that we've generated together, then we're able to increase this program and add it to different schools and school districts.
Why are we just doing Highview, and how many families do you have targeted to service?
So we chose Highview based on the grade levels because it matches the other, because it matches the other school districts that we have. And then also we're looking to have in each school 200 students.
So does Highview have to, it's only for newcomers?
No, it's for all the students in Highview.
Oh, got it. Okay, thank you for the clarification. And Trustee Valen?
So first, just to follow up on the logistics. So let's just stick to that point. Just thinking of the logistics, the time of the year, by now, many parents have probably made arrangements for their kids. I'm concerned that once you get the site license, that maybe the enrollment this year might be artificially lower than what true interest might be next year. Is that going to impact your ability to offer this program?
No, it doesn't. So this year we have a little bit of leniency with taking those numbers because it is the first year, and they also recognize that we are starting later in the year with this school. So it's okay for the next year to take a restart. So this, as long as we're showing upward mobility and trajectory, we'll be okay.
Okay, some other logistics questions. So 3:45 to 4 is snack, and then we're in program until 7. What if some families want to enroll only for part of the program? Is that going to be a problem? And following on that, another logistics thing, and then I just took the 3 points. You go until 7 o'clock, kids might be hungry again for dinner, so I don't know if there's another opportunity for food in here. And the last point is just who staffs the program?
Okay, first one. Okay, so on the surveys that I'm sending to parents, it's giving them the opportunity to pick up at various different pickup times. So the first one would be after the first academic portion, and then again after the first enrichment portion, because the last 90 minutes is going to be broken down into 2 45 minutes. So they have different options. I do know 7 o'clock is very late. That's like the time that they're getting ready for bed, I hope. So you have various different times for pickup. The second one was,
We'll go to food.
Food. So we are looking to provide meals for the families, and we have lots of applications for grants and reimbursements for food to provide to families. It has to be eaten in the school.
For the reimbursement.
For the reimbursement, yes. And then as far as with staffing, we are partnering with the YMCA. And obviously we're hoping that we can get some staff from the school, because it would be nice to have some continuous support. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Alon.
What is the student's eligibility to participate in the program?
It's open to all students.
So it's open to all students at Highview?
Yes.
Thank you for clarifying, Trustee Long, because I thought we said this was a newcomer program. Am I misunderstanding?
So it's targeted towards the newcomers and low-income families, but it's open to all of the students.
Okay, thank you.
So then, on top of supporting the students, we are offering parental support and family academy. where they're going to get financial literacy, they'll have ESL support, they'll have a parent support group, they have access to the fitness and nutrition. There's other things. So they have, yeah.
So, I'm sorry, review. So it's a program that's open to all 200, I think, there's 230 students, somewhere around there, no, Mr. Evans probably.
249.
Around 249, okay, I was close. So it's open to all 250 students at Highview.
Yes.
It's 2 day a week.
So it's Monday, Wednesday cohort, and Tuesday, Thursday cohort.
So 2 day a week.
2 day a week. So let's say, for instance, if half the school wants to attend Monday, Wednesday, and the other half wants to attend on Tuesday, Thursday, they can't. So then we're providing access to all of the students.
And is there going to be communication with existing childcare providers, or how does that work? Because parents may pay for, as Trustee Bauer mentioned, a Monday through Friday childcare provider, and then we're offering 2 days of enrichment and support till 7 p.m. maximum, but it can be shorter, right?
Right.
How is that going to work?
Now, I appreciate the question. Unfortunately, there are so many different, we don't know where those children are being. So it would really be up to the parents to communicate that. We would be happy to provide the information to those groups. But this is really, and for the children who are already part of those programs, this might not be the right program for them. And those parents may opt out of not participating, and they're welcome to. Another thing that you have access to is that if other students wanted to come from other schools, you know, that's something that has also been a consideration. I know that in one of the districts, they have the school available through the bus route, so that like when one school lets out, they'll let the kids out that are going to the program, you know, at the school. And then for the pickup, what we are also offering are, because parents have to come pick up their children, is if they don't have the transportation to come get those children, they can use those lift rides that Tom talked about earlier with the transportation access. So that no matter what, you know, if a child wants to stay and come, they can. Yes, sir.
And if a child, what if a child wanted to do 4 days instead of 2?
So what we've done in some of the other districts, I'm so sorry, but so if you look at it, 200 students, if we have 80 kids who want to do Monday, Wednesday, we have 80 kids that want to do Tuesday, Wednesday, we have Tuesday, Thursday, we actually have the option for 40 students to actually do all 4 days. So we can have that possibility available. And because you are starting, you know, significantly later in the district, we might be able to actually go 5 days for, you know, for the period to get the hours in. So, and that's something that will be asked in the survey. And that will be, it will really depend on that. But there will be the opportunity for some families to be full, to be every day. Any other questions?
And the important consideration here is that when you're talking about those are families that were have their children in 5-day-a-week programs, where they were paying for that, this is a free alternative for them.
So it's safe to say all the kinks and details are still being worked out. You did say there's going to be a survey, so the parents can give you their feedback, and then from there, you can probably better plan.
As we go through the SAC license, like I said, that takes about 90 days, and because we are a CBO, or a community-based organization, we have to go through the SAC process, so also anybody who works in the district has to go through what is Book 6000 series. That takes at least 6 weeks to go through, so this is going to be a process, but by giving us permission, we can move things forward, and as we move along in the process, we have no problem keeping you updated on where we're at in it, but it's just more along the lines of we haven't been able to do it because, you know, we're at that block.
Okay, any other questions, trustees? No? Thank you very much. Okay, next on our agenda, the time is now 9:17 p.m. Next on our agenda are committee reports. Are there any committee reports? Trustee Panetta?
Thank you. Given the time, I'm going to wait for my committee report and I'll hold it up for the next meeting. I would suggest that others are willing to do the same, then we do that so we can move forward.
If anyone insisted on giving their committee report tonight?
Yes, I do, but only part of it. I will send you my entire committee report for the Finance and Facilities Committee, and I will skip all the USTA stuff that we did for the tennis courts, all of the other phases of the constructions, and the vestibule and all that stuff, and I'll just talk about the energy performance contract coming up on January 17th, and our publicity efforts along those lines. Greenberg Central School District has negotiated an energy performance contract with Con Edison Solutions to make our facilities more energy efficient. The contract includes upgrading interior and exterior lighting to LED, installing solar panels on the roof of Highview Elementary School, and a carport solar installation and battery energy storage system at the Woodlands Middle High School football field, installing direct digital controls and new energy management systems, installing and reinstating natural gas services, improving air handlers, replacing and rebuilding rooftop units and air handling units for fresh air intake, installing new water heaters in all schools and new boilers in some schools, installing software and timer controls to district computers and air conditioning units. There's a total of $21 million in improvements. However, there is no additional cost to the taxpayer. I repeat, there is no additional cost to the taxpayer. The project is funded by savings on utility bills, rebates from New York State Energy Research and Development Authority, and aid from New York State. The savings are guaranteed by Con Edison Solutions. If we don't save as much on utilities as they predicted, Con Ed Solutions reimburses the district every year for the difference. New York State requires voter approval. We are holding a proposition vote to authorize 10% aid from New York State for this project on Tuesday, January 17th at Woodlands Gymnasium. Polls are open from 7 a.m. until 9 p.m. For voter registration, absentee ballot, and military ballot information, contact our district clerk, Christine DiFrancesco, that's KDIFRANCESCO, at greenbergcsd.org, or you can call her at 914-761-6000, extension 3114. Regarding our efforts to inform voters, a special edition of the Falconer was mailed to all district households earlier this month and is received by most community members present at the last meeting. We've gotten complaints from some residents in the past about not receiving our mailing, and we're trying to work on that. There was some concern about not just saying current resident, we want to say community member name where we can, or current resident. The question and answer portion of the topic on our district website listed under Energy Performance Contract. It needs to emphasize that there's no cost to district taxpayers, include a list of upgrades to our facilities, highlight the fact the energy savings for the project are guaranteed, include a link at the top of the topic to provide easy access to the Spanish translation. All the Spanish is at the bottom, so you need to know that it's there, so we need to put a button in there. And include a notice for members of the public. For further questions, contact our Assistant Superintendent for Business, Lisa Raymond, lraymond@greenbergcsd.org. Since the meeting, we've developed an updated draft of the Q&A topic that's being translated into Spanish for posting. Some committee members enthusiastically advocated for a vote yes flyer, emphasizing that the project is free, the savings are guaranteed, and the project benefits the well-being of all our students. We discussed the fact that the district can't urge the public to vote yes or no on a proposition, only inform the public of the proposition and urge them to vote. Similarly, the district can't restrict get out the vote efforts to portions of the community most likely to vote yes. Our district website, our postings on Facebook and Twitter, our announcements at board meetings on cable TV channels and YouTube, our mailer to all district households are all accessible by the entire community. We're creating a short video summarizing the project and proposition. We're making efforts to inform civic associations. If community organizations wish to express a particular viewpoint on this proposition, they may do so. We are developing a one-page informational flyer that outlines the energy performance contract proposition and urges people to vote. The Finance and Facilities Committee meeting adjourned at 8:56 p.m. That was the biggest topic. The next meeting of the committee is scheduled for Thursday, January 19th at 6:30 p.m. Don't forget to vote on the energy performance contract state aid proposition on Tuesday, January 17th at Woodlands Gym. Polls are open from 7 a.m. until 9 p.m. Happy holidays.
Thank you, Trustee Warner. Next on our agenda is Board President's Report. I'm going to table most of my report as well. However, I did want to mention, because I was specifically asked, that the Early Childhood Program is going to have a pre-K registration information and application pickup night. I know they do this every year. It's kind of a big deal. Everyone kind of comes and lines up to be first in line for that night. The dates and times, I'm not sure if this is a typo. It looks like there's 2 dates for that. I don't know, Dr. Anderson and Dr. Macaluso. Okay. So there, I have 2 dates here, January 1st, January 12th and 26th. Sorry, Dr. Macaluso, so for ECP is having a pre-K registration information and application pickup night. We're used to that. It happens every year. It's a big deal. Parents line up. You know, they want to be first in line to get dibs to get a slot. ECP. But here it has 2 dates, so I don't know if that's a typo, if that's accurate. But the dates that are here are January 12th and 26th from 6 p.m. to 7:30 at Woodlands High School. And the applications are given out on a first come, first served basis, so hopefully people come the first date upon arrival in the auditorium. All applications must be completed and returned to staff before leaving the property. For universal pay, everyone must be 4 years old by December 1st, 2023, and the family must reside within the Greenberg Central School District school boundaries. For a Head Start, the children must be turning 3 or 4 by December 1st, 2023, and qualify per the federal guidelines. If you live outside of Greenberg Central School District, you must transport your child to and from the school. So other than that, I will not give any more of my report because I'm going to move forward for time's sake. And Christine, is anyone signed up for public comments? No. No? Okay. So, Dr. Macaluso, you'll clarify for us about the dates when you can?
Absolutely, trustee Mayor, allow me to look into that, and if there's a clarification needed, we'll do that both writing to you guys, to this board, as well as to the public on the website.
Okay, awesome, thank you. Next on our agenda are regular meeting approvals. However, the board wants to go into a second executive session. Can I get a motion, please?
I move that we adjourn to executive session to discuss information pertaining to the employment history of particular persons, personnel matters, and/or employee records, and matters deemed confidential by state or federal law, including seeking advice from counsel.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. It's 9:26. We're going into executive session. After executive session, we will vote on our regular meeting approvals. Thank you.
Okay, you can go.
Thank you. Great. We are back. The time is now 12:26 a.m. we're gonna look at regular meeting approvals. E1, personnel instructional items.
I move that we approve the instructional personnel items presented to the board for approval this evening.
Second.
Discussion?
Okay,
I just want to confirm that this one we have to amend or not?
so it should be a motion amended, as amended. Is the motioner wanna retract the motion and amend the motion?
It's at 14, right?
At 14.
Does the,
So does Mr. Wonder want to?
you wanna
I withdraw the motion.
rescind your motion? Okay. Excuse me, E1, personnel instructional items. E1, personnel instructional items. I need
I move that we approve the instructional personnel items presented to the board for approval this evening as amended.
I second.
Beautiful. It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. E2, personal non-instructional items.
I move that we approve the non-instructional personnel items presented to the board for approval this evening.
Second?
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Item E3, board action item.
I move that we approve the board action items presented to the board for approval this evening.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Item E4, finance items.
I move that we approve the finance items presented to the board for approval this evening.
Second?
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Items E5, business item.
I move that we approve the business items presented to the board for approval this evening.
Second?
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Item E6, pupil personnel items.
I move that we approve the pupil personnel services items presented to the board for approval this evening.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. That takes us in our agenda down to L, closing items. L1, new business. Any trustees have any new business to discuss? Trustee Alon.
I just want to remind the public that on January 9th, the Greenwood Central School District PTA Council is having a meeting at 7 p.m. at R.J. Bailey, and we'll have a Zoom link. And I believe there will be a presentation about our EPC at that meeting also.
There will.
Thank you, Trustee Alon. Are you the liaison?
I am a liaison.
I know you are. I didn't know if Trustee Alon was too. I know we had two at one point. That's what I was asking. Okay. Anything else? No? Oh, what is it? Are you the liaison for the council?
I'm a Bailey liaison for the council.
Okay, wonderful. And Trustee Warner, sorry, what did you want to say? Did you have an announcement or new business?
I believe she's made the announcement.
Oh, you were going to, okay, repeat.
I am going to present to the PTA Council.
Oh, you're going to present.
But she's announced it.
All right,
And
thank
it's all
you.
good.
Okay, anyone else have any new business tonight? Yes, no? Okay, hearing none. Let's move on to items L2, adjournment.
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. 12:31 a.m. Thank you.
Happy holidays,
Happy holidays.